Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our newer Wednesday, 1 p.m. live stream Q&A on all things Social Security. Visitors are welcome to post a question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. It's on a first come, first serve basis, so please get there on time. Otherwise, if you care to be a member and get some different kinds of perks, feel free to click the join button below or just click it to learn about them. Anyway, I hope to see you Wednesday. If not, enjoy the video. Bye now. Good morning, afternoon, evening. Okay, so this is actually being put together because a wonderful client of mine who has prevailed on her claim has some post-award questions that she wasn't finding answers to. So she asked me, and it is my pleasure to give them. So here's how it goes. The question is, and I'm just trying to skim through to where it is. Will a monthly disability award, so this is SSD award, will it include any monetary contributions from my ex-husband? We were married over 10 years. And apparently there had been someone who suggested they thought there would be. And if so, would that contribution from that ex affect his own Social Security? Okay, so here's how it goes. No, with SSD, it's based only on your own work record, if you have one. Now, there can be mild, there is no contributions from, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. If someone is between the age of, this is where there's a slight difference, but it has to do with widowhood and not spousal. If somebody is disabled between the age of 50 and 60 and widowed, they can actually get a benefit based on a spouse's work record, an amount that might be greater than their own, or maybe they don't even have a record of their own. And it does not take away from the benefits from that deceased partner. So that can be between 50 and 60, as opposed to waiting till survivor age of retirement, which is 60, which is lower than the normal age of 62 for early retirement. Okay, but as an SSD person, you file under your own work record, and that is what you get. You don't get a greater one at that juncture for having been married for over 10 years. So as some of you know, if we are married over 10 years, when we do become 62, we could file for, and this is assuming that that other person is old enough to have a benefit himself and file. If we are 62, we can take a divorced spouse benefit if we were married for over 10 years and we are unmarried. That's another point. You have to be unmarried for that. Doesn't apply to SSD, but if you're going to, so basically you have an alternative source of eligibility for Social Security disability. Or I should say, I take that back, for Social Security early retirement. Your own SSD, you could take early retirement, which would be nonsensical because that would be a 35% cut approximately. Or you could take potentially a divorced spouse benefit if you are unmarried, because you're no longer dependent on somebody else in the legal sense when we're married. Then you can go off of a spouse, an ex-spouse. But remember, when we take an early retirement benefit off of a spouse, we don't get the full amount. We get 50% if we actually wait till our full retirement age to make that switch or start collecting it. Or if we try to do it at 62, we are stuck with 35% of theirs. Because remember, the earlier you take it, you're paying it out of your own potential. It's getting scraped off the top for all those future years to make up you taking those extra 5 years of those benefits. And again, that's only for the early retirement thing. I would take a wild guess that most people, their own retirement at full retirement age will be greater than their 50% or 35% they can take of their spouse or ex-spouses if they otherwise meet the eligibilities. Yeah. And again, there's early retirement and there's SSD. And SSD, there is no grabbing off of an ex at all. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions. So yeah, there's nothing, there is nothing more you can get in that regard. Your assistant at the center was incorrect about that. She's probably thinking of the retirement potentiality if you were single, and of age for that. And of course, you don't get both. There's never an addition. You only get one or the other. So you would be giving up what is probably your bigger amount, your full amount of SSD, which is akin to your full retirement age amount, to go take a 35% of someone who maybe earned more than you, but did that person earn 3 times as much as you? So anyway, I hope that answers the question. There is nothing more to be had there. Okay. I will talk to you later. Bye. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Good morning. End of April 2023. Welcome from Morristown, New Jersey. Had the opportunity to be here, so wanted to get a few things done. Anyway, this particular little discussion today is about, we've talked about early retirement, and we've talked about divorce spousal benefits and all these other things. So here's a scenario you might want to know about. A disabled person hits 62. Now, the person can continue on her disability amount until full retirement age, in which case, if there's no other better benefit to be had at that time, her disability amount, which is the full amount she earned, will flip in name only to Social Security retirement, and the amount will stay the same. Okay, because she was already collecting her full amount. Now, add in a fact that the person is divorced and that their spouse had a much greater work history amount than she did. So the person decides to file for spousal benefits at 62, which is the normal time anyone can file for their spousal benefits if they have them from an ex or a current spouse. The current spouse had to have already filed for his benefits, if for a current spouse, but not so much for a divorced spouse. So the disabled person sees that the percentage amount she will get as a divorced spousal retirement benefit at 62 is more than she is getting on her disability, because that's how much greater the ex's income was over those years, over his lifetime. So she collects, let's say you're collecting 1,000 on your own disability, but if you collect early retirement as a spouse when you hit 62, you're going to get, say, 1,200. So she changes to the 1,200. This might not be the wisest thing, but everyone's situation is different. So what I wanted to tell her was, if you regret doing that and you only did it a couple months ago, you can withdraw. Now, I have a withdrawal video. It's something available only for 12 months, the first 12 months after you filed for retirement, but that is an option. And I explained that you took 35% as a spousal benefit from your ex-spouse's benefit amount, not the 50%, and it's never going to become the 50%. So even though what you're getting as a divorced spouse retirement benefit taken early with a major discount, as all early retirement generally is, if you ever want to see that 50%, you need to reverse that early retirement taking at 62. Revert back. I think you probably can, because if you reverse the taking of the early retirement, you're still on disability. So she'd be going back to that lower amount on her own record. for the 5 years to get up to full retirement age, which would be 66 or 67, probably closer to 67. And then she would have that, nearly a 50% increase in her disability amount. I mean, her benefit amount, now that it's spousal, divorced spouse benefit at the full 50%, because she will have taken it at 67 and not at 62. Okay. And then, of course, and this is separate, if her ex passes away before she does, and she can collect a survivor benefit. If she collects it before full retirement age of 67, which is only 5 years away, it will be discounted off of the 100% it would be if she collected a survivor benefit off of the ex's primary insurance amount. Or if he waited, it could be even higher, but that's a whole nother thing. She can either get the 100% if any survivor benefit is taken after the age of full retirement, or a discounted amount. So many options here. If a person cannot live on their disability amount any longer, it's just so unpleasant, and wants to take the early retirement that is a little bit higher, but not as high as it would be if waiting 5 years, that's a personal choice. Everyone's got to make their own, but they need to be aware of the fact that what they're getting as a spousal is 35% ballpark, not the 50%. Fortunately, that decision, even if she kept with it and didn't decide to withdraw and reverse it, which you can only do in the first 12 months, will not affect her ability to later make a different decision should her ex pass away before her. So, our early retirement takings do not affect our survivor benefit amount. The thing that would affect the survivor benefit amount, should that come to be with an untimely early passing of the ex, is that as long as she now doesn't collect that until full retirement age, she will collect the full 100% amount of his benefit amount, not any reduced amount. But if she collects any time between 60 and 67, a survivor benefit, it will be discounted and can go down as low as, I think the amount is 71.5%. That's like a 1/3 chop off the top. So taking survivor benefit early is a choice people make, particularly when they have to. Other choices for taking early might be, well, I don't think I'm going to live that long, so I just want to start taking it now and making life easier. Everyone's choice is reasonable for what they decide to do. I just want to make sure everyone knows the costs, and because if they don't have, a death wish or a reason to believe they're going to pass remarkably early, and we're all, again, different, and we don't know, right, one way or the other oftentimes. But I need them to know what they're giving up, so in case they had a misconception about what they were getting and what they could be getting, at least now they know. And if they filed for early retirement within the last 12 months, they have that once in a lifetime opportunity to withdraw it, pay back all the benefits. Hopefully they haven't gotten too many, but that's something that they need to know, because again, if a person is getting, if 35% of a benefit is $1,000, so you're getting $1,000 early spousal benefit, or let's just say it was $1,000. How much more is that going to be if you're adding another? It could be $400 or $500. So if you just waited a few more years, you'd be on $1,500 instead of, say, $1,000. You got to do the math, and then make the decision that's right for you. Because sometimes maybe living on a disability is just too much. It was so hard, and having that few extra $100 now is so much better. But what if it was actually a few $100 more than that even? Just things to know, to do the math, and do it before you run out of your 12-month window to withdraw, if that's what you need to do. Okay. Anyway, it's nice to see everybody. It's kind of cool to be here in Jersey. I would never move back, but I like to visit sometimes. Anyway, you know where to reach me. Bye now.